So can you just give us a little background about yourself and what you do?
Okay, I've been working approximately 24 years now in the field of product architectures and modularity. So doing that, I've become sort of a, I don't know if you're called a nerd in that sense, but
an expert. Let's say expert.
Yeah, but from that perspective, that's what I've done in my life, in my professional life.
Yeah, good.
I have a background from the Royal Institute of Technology, where I did research in the same area of modularity and product architecture.
And you just continued doing that?
I've continued doing that, but
Fantastic.
of course I've been working with very large corporations and top management teams in implementing this, so I've done my time in industry as well, but it's been the topic of product architectures and modularity the whole time.
Who inspires you?
I think it's not who. I think it's been a couple of companies, and the one that I want to mention maybe most is who I personally have been most inspired by is Scania, and the people around Scania as well, because they were pioneers in Sweden and also I think globally for building modular product architectures. Did a lot of research in the beginning and talked a lot of the creators of the first modular architecture of Scania, and that was extremely inspiring for me, and it's guided me through my career as well.
Okay. So Alex, who's your favourite author, or what's your favourite book?
I think a book that inspired me also was a book called Value Disciplines by Tracy and Versam and Tracy, who first talked about the value discipline, 3 different axes, how companies can be good at or should be good at one of the 3 different disciplines of being close to the customer or being operational efficient or product leaders, and how this actually interacts with modular architectures. And Tracy and Versma says that you can only be good at one of these disciplines. Either you're close to the customer, or you're operational efficient, or you're a product leader. And what we've seen with modular architecture is actually you can be good at all 3 of them if you're using that as a tool. And that's it was a very interesting book to read and expand on that.
Right, and that's because the modular architecture decouples the interdependence of those 3.
Exactly. So that's been a guidance also of how to explain this to companies and even to boards and the owners of a number of companies of what does really architectures do, or modular architectures do for you. And if you can be the best in all 3, you can be close to the customer, you can be operational efficient, and you can be a leader in technology as well. Of course, you're going to be profitable, and you're going to be starting to play in a different league than you are right now. So,
Alex, what are the main challenges that you see for high-tech businesses?
I think the high-tech businesses are facing two areas, of course, and they've been doing that for a very long period of time, is that speed. You know, high-tech usually has they have to get very fast to the market with new innovations. And Michael this morning was talking about what happens when you're defining technology is shifted or not shifted. I think that's critical. And I also think that high-tech industry is also handling more and more of some of the issues when it comes to variance and what should they offer and how much offerings do they need to have in the market. And the combination of that, speed to market and variation is difficult.
Because it's complex. There's
it's extremely complex.
So many combinations. And which one do you pick? Which one's going to succeed in the market?
And how fast can you be in these shifts and where the customer is asking for different applications or different needs or different performance steps? How quickly can you react to that? Is going to be key. And I think, and also, which I thought was very interesting today, listening to it, was that if we don't look into what defining technology that's coming the next, and we're not looking at it timely, 4 or 5 years before it actually hits the market, then we have problems. And I think that's key, to be able to shift and understand when platforms needs to change and interface needs to change and so on and so on in time.
So Alex, could you summarize for me a couple of critical areas or reasons why high-tech business should consider product architecture and platform strategies.
Well, to summarize why high-tech companies needs to look into architectures, and it's not just high-tech companies that needs to look into it, to be honest, but it's into that we need to be handling the demands of the market of how quickly can we react to their specific needs, and be able to very rapidly introduce new functionality, new innovations, new performance levels, and that will be one very important reason for going into architectures. The same goes also for being able to handle a big variation of products that the market is asking for. So we need to be able to develop it, with minimal resources and still meet the needs of new technology innovation. We need to have a vast assortment, but we cannot handle the complexity a vast product assortment gives the organization, because we also need to have, volume, and it doesn't matter if if we're developing services or hardware or software. We need to handle this, and an architecture, a modular architecture, where we've defined interfaces and module variants. And then we can do that. We can handle all of these challenges that that companies are looking for.
Speed to market is such an important thing. Do you think that it's the competition driving that, or is it the customer demands and expectations have also risen to drive that?
I think it's both. I think that high-tech companies tends to be fairly innovative and also pushing the market quite a lot. And I think we had an example this morning when talking about Apple, which I think has been, with their architecture, has been pushing the market. And of course they also need to react to market needs. So it's both. It's driven by the market, but it's also pushed by innovation and pushed by technology. So we need to, because that's unspoken needs that we as customers, or we don't know as consumers, that we really want it right now. But if we prepare our architectures for that changes with interfaces and these variants, we can both push, and then by the configurability we can pull from those architectures, which means we're both fast to the market, and we can have these an assortment. Back to the 3 different axes that I was talking about before.
Great. Okay, good. So, final question, where do you see the future of product management and trends in product management?
I think product management becomes more and more important as a role of a company, and I would say that product management is starting to get in the center of it all. I don't think if it's an English expression. In Sweden we say the spider in the web. I think it's not an English version, but
we say something similar.
You say something similar. But that's where we're starting to see it. So product management needs to, I think, have a role in the company when it becomes at the same level as you have the R&D manager. We need to move it up, because if we're going to handle the architectures and modular platforms, it has a natural center actually, because product managers needs to define what should we have. I mean, sales are out there talking to the customers, feeding this, but as product managers, one has to translate it into what should we have, and also translate what technology is coming with and saying this is possible, and they have to, as product manager, we have to. Product manager has to bring that in to say, okay, what kind of value is that? And then feed it back to the sales organization. So it becomes extremely important from that perspective. I think also what's important for product managers is pricing and how do we handle that with the assortment and all these questions that will come in, also going to be extremely important to the company. And driving benefits of an architecture through all the different functions. Who would do that today in the organization.
Yeah.
You need to have someone looking at a product throughout all the functions that you have in the company.
Yeah.
So it's extremely strategic role for the future.
Yeah, for sure. All right, great. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah.